In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my cashless budget method step by step, how I budget monthly without using cash. Let's get right into it. So the very first thing you're going to need is you're going to need something to keep you organized. I have a budget workbook and I also use a budgeting spreadsheet as well. I'm going to link it down below just in case you are interested. But this is a place where you're going to write down all of your finances, all of the bills that you have, all of your debt, things like that. And you're going to keep it organized inside of a folder, inside of a binder, any place that you can keep all of the worksheets together. This is what you're going to have. Now, this is what I call a budget calendar. It will come undated. You will have to actually fill this in. This is where I plan out my month. So if I have any holidays coming up, any special activities. So for me, I know Cinco de Mayo is coming up and I'm a big margarita fan. And instead of me just going out spending money on margaritas, I go ahead and see if I can fit it inside of my budget. So I place it on here on the day that I know that I want to go to the store and actually pick up a margarita. I give myself a budget for that. Now, I'm also a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I am just obsessed. And there's a pair of sneakers that's actually coming out on May 10th. And, you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner as well. So that's going to be like a little gift to myself as well. And I fit that inside of my budget too. Now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot to actually add that in on my monthly budget worksheet. But I can go back and always add it in and later. But the monthly calendar portion is basically where you're able to actually see on what date are all of these things supposed to be happening and how much money potentially you're gonna need. So this is where you're actually gonna plan that out here. Then also at the bottom of the paper, you want to have some goals. You want to set some goals for yourself. Even if you do not hit all of these goals, you want to at least try to hit at least one of them. So my 3 goals for the month of May is to save at least $500. I do that every single month. That's always like top priority for me because, you know, I'm trying to save money, not really spend all of it or whatever. So that's going to always be like my first top priority. The next goal is to pay off my Discover credit card. Now that one is going to be a big one. I'm hoping that I'm able to pay it off. It doesn't look good as of right now, but a girl can dream. Like I said before, although I have 3 goals listed out, I'm going to be aiming at only one. If I accomplish one, I am satisfied. And then the next goal is to track my expenses daily so that I can make sure that I am staying within my budget because some of my bills went up and I had to decrease spending in other areas. So I need to make sure that I am very disciplined and mindful of what I'm spending my money on because I am giving myself a not really strict budget, but I don't have any room to kind of like go over any categories that I have. Now, speaking of categories, this is the monthly worksheet. This is where you're actually going to take what you have on your calendar portion and break it into budget categories. This is going to tell you how much money you need inside of each one of your categories, and hopefully you won't go over that amount. Now, for me, saving is always going to be top priority, so I'm going to have savings as number 1. And typically how I do this is basically I take my income at the top. I put how much money I plan on making or, you know, trying to make or thinking that I'm going to get paid, because a lot of people always ask me, how do you know how much you're going to get paid if you haven't already gotten paid? You know how much your lowest paycheck is going to be. If you don't know how much your lowest paycheck is going to be, go back through your previous paychecks that you've gotten paid this year and see which one is the lowest amount. Go with that one as your blueprint, as your starter budget with just, you know, budgeting out your finances. That's what I do. I was budgeting $2,000 a pay period, and then I was noticing when I changed my investing and I went up on my investing that my checks was $1,900, and I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and drop it down to $1,900 because I was always in the red because I'm budgeting $2,000, and every time I kept getting paid it was like $1,900 and something. So that's the first thing you want to actually do when it comes to your income. You want to see what's the lowest amount that you've ever got paid and use that as your starter budget with planning out your bills and expenses and stuff like that. Next, like I said before, my priority is savings. I would suggest you list these items in the most priority to the least priority, and I will explain that as I go along. So for me, the most priority is my savings, and I'm putting inside $923.38 inside of my savings. How I'm going to do that is I have an investment account, I have a retirement account, and then I have my personal savings. How do I make this cashless? No, because I'm not just, getting paid and taking money out and putting money inside of these. I set this up through automation. So I have an automated draft going into my retirement account. I have an automated draft going into my investing account. I have an automated draft going into my personal savings, and that's how I get that out of the way automatically. And I know that I'm gonna hit my goals every single time that I'm paid, overall every single month. Now the next category is my home category, and this is like the next important thing besides just saving money. And inside of my home category, I have my house, my life insurance, short-term disability, aftercare fees for my son, and then my phone bill. And inside of my house, my home account, my house account, because I share bills and expenses with someone, the bills that I share with another person is like the light bill, the trash bill, the internet and cable, the water bill, all of the main stuff. That is going to be inside of a separate account. That's how we make that cashless. We set the house, the main important bills, the bills that run this house, that is going to have its own account. This account right here is where all of the money is going to be put inside of. And when I get paid, or whenever I'm sending over my house money, really I do everything on the first of the month. So every first of the month I send a set amount to my house account, and that take care of all of the bills for the house for the whole entire month. And then all of the money that's left inside of my home account take care of everything else on this list. Now, the next category is food. And this is where my budget is getting a little bit stricter. Now, I was giving myself $300 for food, but I was noticing that I was spending a whole lot of money on eating out. Y'all already know it. Y'all saw the budgets before. Y'all saw what I spend in a day if you've been following me on TikTok, because I've documented that last month. And I realized that, you know what, I don't need to be eating out as much like that anymore. I need to be cooking at home, because, girl, you got food at home. Girl, you've been going to the grocery store, so you got food at home that you can cook, and maybe you can bring you some snacks to work to kind of like snack on, because that's typically when I eat out is when I'm at work. So instead of me giving myself $300 for groceries, I'm giving myself $200, which is a big cut. I don't recommend cutting it that big. I suggest slowly dropping it down, maybe $25, less than what you had it before. But me, I just know that I gotta be a little bit disciplined with myself and kind of cut some expenses somewhere, being that my mortgage payment is going up this month, and I gotta, cut some things out within my budget. The next category is transportation. Now, I did drop this down as well. I was giving myself $60 a week for gas, and I realized that I wasn't hitting the $60. I was, around $50-something, or a little bit less than $50 or whatever. But it wasn't over $200 a month. Sometimes it was over $200. I'm not even gonna lie. But I know that I gotta be mindful of my budget and of how I'm spending money on gas, and stick to one car at a time. And I'm giving myself $50 a week for gas, filling up every single Sunday, so that gives me $200. Now, like I said before, the home account, besides the house, everything, all of the money that I'm mentioning or expenses that I'm mentioning is gonna be coming out of that account. Next up are subscriptions. Subscriptions, I have iCloud storage, Google storage, and then my Beat Life membership, which is $61.98. Everything is set up on automated draft. Those tend to not go up. I don't have to really worry about that. I know that those are going to come up to $61.98 every single time. My debt payment, because I have paid off a lot of credit cards, y'all. I'm left with one credit card on my own, another credit card that I share, a collections account, and then I still have to pay this monthly fee of $4 when it comes to the Merit credit card. That credit card is actually paid off. They just continue on charging me $4 just to have it open. So that's going to be $227.40. But being that the goal this month is to actually pay this Discover credit card off, and the balance is way high, because last month I did not send the $1,000 over there because I had some things was going on, and I was still trying to figure out how I was going to supplement the increase in my mortgage payment while also dealing with the increase in aftercare fees, the life insurance and stuff like that. I had to cut back somewhere. So even though I did not send $1,000, where the $1,800 that I was supposed to send to Discover, I built back up my savings because I did not feel comfortable, paying all of this debt down in my bank. My savings account was only like 4 months of bills and expenses. So now that I kind of like got it at like a healthy amount, well, not really a healthy amount, but amount that now I feel comfortable with paying $2,000 to a Discover credit card compared to last month. I did not really feel like that because if anything happened and I needed to spend some money, then I would probably be using that credit card all over again. So this month I feel a little bit more confident in paying this off. However, like I said before, I try to use money that I make on the side, not really the money that I make from my full-time job to pay this credit card, nor do I try to go in my savings and try to pay down the credit card. So we will see. Hopefully I will make the amount of money that I need to pay off this credit card and we can get it paid off. If not, I don't mind kind of like doing it in June as well, because by then I will be done with paying for aftercare fees because my son is going with his dad for the summer. So that's going to save me $480 for the next couple of months. And then last but not least is the fund/miscellaneous. And how I come up with this is basically once I'm done with the debt payments, I'm going to take my income and subtract all of my bills and expenses from this just to see what I have left. Sometimes I might not have enough money left to have a little bit of fun, depending on what my goals are, depending on what all I have going on that month. But this month, because I am rolling money over and I'm starting to include that money that I'm rolling over, I know that I will have a little bit of money to put aside for fun. So for this month, like I said before, I know that I want to do Cinco de Mayo. I know that I want to get those Jordans. I forgot to put it right here, so I'm gonna have to go back and put it right here. I know that I like to do things with my son. I gotta get his haircut sometime. Majority of the time I don't pay for his haircut, but if I do have to pay for a haircut, I like to typically still have that $20 within my budget, while also still putting some extra money aside just in case he wants snacks, he want to pick up a toy or something like that. And then I also giving myself $75 for fun to do whatever it is I want to do. So if I want to grab that frappe, if I want to grab something for out to eat, or if I want to hang out with my friends or something like that, I can have a little bit of money in my budget where I can do the things, the fun things that I like to do. Now, I also put at the bottom hair, and then I'm going to put the Jordans down here as well because I forgot to include that inside of here. And I put a question mark because this is just like a maybe. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I want to get a new wig. I want to get my hair done and things like that. But when I look at how much money I want to spend on it or I have to spend on it, sometimes I change my mind. But I put it on here just in case because I really do want to get a new wig. I am tired of this old wig, and I just want to, just get a fresh new wig and get my hair done and stuff like that because I haven't had my hair done all year as far as like a new wig type of thing. Now, I have been going to the stylist and paying $100 just to get like a wash and press or whatever, but I feel like I can use that $100 and buy me a whole new wig, and I can just keep cornrows in my head and just throw on my wig and be good to go. But that's how I actually set up my budget every single month and make it cashless. I just use different banking accounts for different things within my budget. Y'all let me know in the comments if you will be trying out this cashless budgeting method and if you actually need help. I'm going to link this budget workbook down below in the description box to help you out. This is going to actually help you track your expenses, plan out your finances, plan out your paycheck, see exactly what bills you have due for the month with using your budget calendar. And that's all for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.